Alright everyone, today's role analysis is with Don Ariston, a purple belt with only about 3 years of jiu-jitsu experience. This position right here, this half butterfly position, kind of one of my go-to positions, and I do love that overhook belt grip. More than anything, it keeps the guy connected to me, and especially when he takes the underhook and loads his weight in, I'm normally able to sweep. But he does a good job of hopping out on his knee. I tried to go for a belly down armbar, but didn't have great control on it. I do love to attack the Choi bar and the omoplata. Whenever they grab my pants, I like to scoop their elbow, roll it out, but he let go of the grip. But keeping the grip actually really opens up that position for me. I'm always trying to keep some form of connection. He likes to break grips all the time, and as soon as he breaks one grip, I'll just take another grip. You'll notice I have my right foot inverted over his thigh, which does help to prevent him from cutting through the inside space. Here we go again. I have my butterfly. He hugs. And this time I do it with a cross collar, and I make sure to stabilize the top position and walk my hips over this time. I didn't get too greedy with the armbar because he's a little bit difficult to control. He's very smart when it comes to kind of switching his hips and bailing on a bad exchange. Now I think he wants to score back on me a little bit after that butterfly sweep. He does an amazing job with this elbow-knee connection. You see how tight his foot is to my butt, not really leaving me too much space to attack. As he breaks into this inner layer, I actually am forced to shrimp away, which normally I don't. I try to play the range, but he's a little dangerous, so I'll keep that space. As you can see, I'm on my side, so that does help in terms of making the cross face a little bit less effective, but I'm looking for a John Wayne sweep here. You can't see it, but I was controlling his hand, and as soon as he ripped his hand out, I went for the underhook. Now, this is probably the attack of his I'm most worried about. He'll take this underhook, deep underhook, from a half guard position, and he'll look to use it to pass or step over the head for an armbar. So I just off balance him, and I try to use that to reset my guard, and I try to hit a John Wayne butterfly combo. I end up hitting the second butterfly, but you see he's out of alignment. I know he's going to get up, so that's why I switch for the Kimura grip, and I lock in this triangle position from the back. It's just going to help to keep him on the ground, but also with a strong guy like this, I need to isolate his limbs really and truly. As I go for the Kimura grip, he takes his collar, and I know I can't break that grip. So I throw my leg over, and I use the omoplata pressure, which is my hips traveling forward off his body to peel that hand and disrupt that grip. Just using my hands, I don't think I would have ever broken that grip. Here's another attempt. As soon as he grabs that Toriando grip, I scoop his elbow, I try to roll his elbow open, and I'll normally throw my left leg over his head, but he actually shut it down this time, and he cleared my leg. This was an excellent response. As he starts driving his body forward, I plant my foot on his hip. I start to isolate his forearm, and I angle my hips. You see that penduluming motion will get me into that omoplata position. And I use this to lock up the triangle. Now, what I thought was really cool, and this is what I respect, is he's obviously not all about winning in this role. He's actually trying that triangle counter that I showed in class that day, which I thought was pretty cool to apply it right after. But I obviously am very wary of this because I do think it's an excellent triangle defense. So I fight the feet, and obviously you're feeling the choke the whole time. The other thing I have to worry about with Don, ankle locks. This guy has a nasty ankle lock, and there it is. So I try to slip my heel by pointing my toes and rotating my heel. And then for some reason, I decided to kick through. I feel okay here, but this exchange actually goes south for me. Now, I decide if I attack his ankle lock, A, I can probably finish because I'm a little bit taller, and B, it takes away the leverage for him to finish. As he continues to have this shootout position with me, throws his leg across this outside ashi. The safest counterattack for me would have been to go for the leg drag, but check this out. He grabs my knee, he stretches my leg, slips his elbow right to the base of my heel, and from here I have no ability to resist the ankle lock, so I just got to tap right away. I took a second longer probably than I should have, but he's nice, and I know he's not going to rip my foot off. But at this point, and when you catch an ankle lock like that, there's nothing I can do. Now, having been ankle locked, I had to try to give him one right back. I'm sure he's aware of this, but I can't go 0 for 1. I got to go 1 for 1. So from here, I put in my butterfly hook. I create some elevation. Ultimately, my goal is to swim between his two legs and get to a single leg X position. So that's the start of the isolation. If I can, I'll bring his foot over because I do love my 50-50 ankle locks, and he crosses his ankles here. He does a nice job crossing them early so I can't access the foot. Now, this is what I probably should have done the last time. I leg dragged him. So when he plays this outside dash, I transfer all the weight forward and onto the leg he's attacking. I control his head and collar, and I start to sprawl my weight. This is a very tiring position for my partner, and I'm very happy to sit here for as long as required. I will get my pass from here, and you see I start to walk his elbow up, and I start to sprawl heavier and heavier. The key is to apply the crossface so his head can't swim towards your leg, and his body stays in an extended state. As I come out into the semi-leg drag position, I get my head down, and I seal the space. And I pin his arm with my arm, and I look to attack his arm. Obviously, I wanted the foot lock, but, he was doing a good job defending the foot, so I had to take what I could get. As we start again, I have that cross-collar grip, which I almost always play. I shift my hips, and he's not giving me that forearm. So I grab a cross sleeve on the same sidearm, my 2-on-1, and I use this bite position to enter an omoplata. He pulls his arm out, and we go back into a leg exchange. But this time, I'm a little more wary. I do have to avenge my foot. But again, he comes up, so I didn't get my chance, hoping my chance will come. I love to play this kind of a tilting action to get the weight off and enter my single leg X. I switch to a modified X, and I have a few goals from here. One is to raise my hip, and the other is to sweep him. If I can, I'll break that collar grip so that I can extend away. But as I use my feet to lock, press down on his hip and elevate my hips, I can drive out and bridge away into the outside, and that's how I get my ankle lock finish. Huge thank you to Don for coming out and agreeing to film. This kid is an absolute monster, and I really love rolling with him.